Buenos dias, Zamboanga. Welcome sa Kapihan na Zamboanga. Hatid sa inyo ng Philippine Information Agency, Mindanao Communicators Network, Mindanao Cable Television, E-Media, and SM City Mindpro. We are live at PIA Western Mindanao Facebook page and One TV Philippines and other government agencies' Facebook pages, and of course via cable televisions at MCTV and E-Media. Happy Kapihan Wednesday once again sa ating mga manonood. Ang Kapihan na Zamboanga will discuss important topics that will help you make more informed decisions wherever you are. Let us welcome our special guest today po. We will talk about the International Committee of the Red Cross. So pag-uusapan po natin yan ngayong araw. If you are interested po, we have with us today Miss Alison Lopez, the Communication Manager of the ICRC or the International Committee of the Red Cross. Welcome sa ating program, ma'am.
Maraming salamat, Mai. Magandang araw po sa mga tagapanood po ng Kapihan sa Zamboanga. I'm very happy to be here and thank you so much po for hosting me and the International Committee of the Red Cross.
Okay. Welcome po once again, Miss Alison. Ma'am, we would like to, of course, first of all po, no, gusto nating malaman kung maaari niyo po bang maibahagi sa amin, you can introduce to us what is the International Committee of the Red Cross or yung ICRC, and yung ating kasaysayan, paano po ba ito nagsimula at nabuo?
Okay. Salamat po. So, let me start by introducing po ang International Committee of the Red Cross or ICRC. So, the ICRC, it owes its origins from the idea and determination of a Swiss businessman. Ang pangalan po niya ay si Henri Dunant. So, parang Henry Dunant, yes. Henri Dunant, he's a Swiss businessman and nagkataon po, he had this very memorable experience wherein there was a battle between France and Austria. Around 1859 pa po ito. So matagal na panahon na po ito. And then, meron po siyang business doon at napadaan po siya noon during a time na kita po niya yung kalunos-lunos na kalagayan ng mga sundalong sugatan because of that war. Because of that experience, pagbalik po niya ng Switzerland, sumulat po siya ng libro. The book was titled Memory of Solferino. And from here, he put forward two ideas. No? Those two ideas are, number one, magkaroon ng relief societies during peacetime na tumutulong sa mga sugatan ng mga sundalo during wartime. And then the second idea was magkaroon ng mga nurses and volunteers that who are protected, who will be protected to do their work, protected thanks to an agreement. So dahil doon, nagkaroon ng traction, no, itong mga ideas ni Henri Dunant among his peers, and later on, to put things short, nagkaroon po ng Geneva Conventions. Ito po yung universal na conventions that state what are allowed and not allowed during wartime. No? It's basically to protect the life and dignity of people during war. It basically says na wars have limits. No? May hangganan yan. And most of all, it protects those who are not and no longer participating in hostilities. So yun po, doon po nagmula ang ICRC from the Geneva Conventions po. Doon po kinukuha yung mandate ng ICRC. Doon po nanggagaling yung mandate ng ICRC.
So paano po ito napunta sa Pilipinas? How did it started here or when did it start po dito sa Philippines?
Okay. So even if yung headquarters or yung origins ng International Committee of the Red Cross is in Switzerland, as I mentioned, yung kanyang presence or yung kanyang mandate or humanitarian work, it's very much rooted to conflict or war. So, nung World War II pa lang po, dito sa Pilipinas, may presence na po ng ICRC. So, ang pinaka-work ng ICRC nagsimula dito sa Philippines by visiting Japanese prisoners of war. Oo, so hindi alam ng karamihan, no? Pero matagal na po actually ang ICRC dito. Since World War II, visiting the POWs and as well as assisting civilian internees po. And then from there, nag-evolve din yung mga conflicts dito sa ating bansa. Nagkaroon na rin tayo ng mga tinatawag na internal armed conflicts. O ito yung mga labanan between state security forces and non-state armed groups within the same country, as opposed to international armed conflict na labanan between two countries or more.
So this is a great opportunity po talaga na ma-introduce sa atin. Like you mentioned, yung iba hindi pa masyadong kilala kung ano talaga yung ICRC. So magandang pagkakataon nito na malaman din natin. Of course, we are curious, ma'am. Ano ba yung ating mandato? What is our mission? And ano yung difference ng ICRC sa ating Philippine Red Cross?
Okay. So let me start by answering yung tinatawag na mandate or mission ng aming organization. So it's twofold. The first is to protect the people who are not part of the war or the hostilities and to provide them with assistance. No? Kasi, syempre, pag affected ka ng conflict, yes, you will definitely need help and not all the time the help is there. Second of that mandate or mission is to promote or yung pagpapalaganap ng respeto sa tinatawag na international humanitarian law. So IHL is what we call it. It's the acronym, no? But it's basically the law of war. Kilala siya as law of war or law of armed conflict. So yun nga yung naglilimit ng means and methods of warfare. And as well, it protects the people who are not or no longer participating in hostilities. So we promote the respect of that, especially among who we call parties to the conflict o yung mga naglalaban ng grupo. So it's important kasi obligation nila to respect IHL. No? So ICRC is just there to promote respect, compliance, etc. And also to promote awareness kasi not many people know that this law actually exists, no? And ano yung principles ng law. So yun yung pinaka-mandate and mission po ng ICRC. Now, when it comes to the question of difference, yes, of Philippine Red Cross. So, well, at the end of the day, no, we are really one Red Cross family. But the Philippine Red Cross is our primary humanitarian partner here in the country. It's what, in the whole Red Cross movement, it's what is called as a national society. So each country, almost in the whole world, has their own national society. So one national society per country. And yung national society na yon, which in our case is Philippine Red Cross, it provides various services, often to support or as an auxiliary to the government. No? So alam nyo, very much known, household name ang Philippine Red Cross. No? Very well accepted, efficient po, providing various services, whether it's natural disasters, emergency, blood services, and also in armed conflict. Katuwang namin sila pagdating sa pagbibigay ng tulong sa mga biktima ng armed conflict.
You mentioned on pagbibigay ng tulong nga po sa ating mga victims of armed conflict. I believe we all know that Zamboanga City also experienced nga itong armed conflict nung nagkaroon po nung 2013 siege. So, andito po ba yung presence ng ICRC during that time? I believe nandito po, no, yung ICRC.
Yes, very much so. So, in fact, may opisina po kami dito sa Zamboanga City. And we were, of course, very much there, assisting po yung mga nagbakwit, no, during the Zamboanga siege. And very much at the forefront as well is si Philippine Red Cross, no. I'm sure nakita nyo po yun sa mga balita, how much they provided yung emergency services, ambulance services, especially kapag may nasusugatan, etc. And again, katuwang namin sila all throughout yung pagbibigay ng assistance, whether it's relief items or yung pagbibigay ng malinis na tubig sa mga bakwit, kasi napunta sila sa mga mga gym, I think. No, right, yun.
Thank you, ma'am. No? And then we have this principles. Yung ating ICRC, meron tayong prinsipyo na tinatawag which guides you sa mga ginagawa po ninyo. So, can you explain it to us po kung ano po ang importance or kahalagahan nito?
Okay, thank you. So, actually, itong principles na to is the Red Cross. Fundamental principles that we live by. So it's 7 fundamental principles, but I would probably emphasize yung most important of it. It's the neutrality, impartiality, and independence. Okay? If you allow me, I'll explain, no, kasi baka jargon siya o hindi siya maintindihan ng mga ating tagapanood, no. So ang neutrality, it means that ICRC or the Red Cross cannot take sides in a conflict, no. So bakit? Di ba? Bakit hindi pwedeng pumanig sa isang conflict, no? So it's primarily because we want to be able to reach yung areas or communities that are affected by conflict, no? So very important that we are seen as neutral, that we're not taking sides. Otherwise, we will not have safe access, no? Baka tamaan ng aming mga staff and volunteers when we provide humanitarian action kasi baka akala nung isang grupo we're siding with another side, right? So it's very important po that the Red Cross is seen as a neutral humanitarian actor na talagang humanitarian services lang po ang aming tinutulong, no? Hindi po kami kasama sa labanan and our intention is purely humanitarian. Yung impartiality naman, it emphasizes na sino yung pinaka nangangailangan ng assistance, yun ang bibigyan, no? Walang palakasan, walang nakikita na religion or ethnicity or gender or political biases. We don't look at that. Needs-based ang assistance, no? And we really speak with the communities para alam namin kung ano yung ibibigay, ano yung kailangan ba talaga nila, no? We're there to address gaps. We're not here to replace the authorities who are the primary responsible to provide assistance whenever there's armed conflict. Yung third point, yung third principle, yung independence, no? So very important for the ICRC to be able to provide its humanitarian action independently. Kami nagde-decide based on our assessment, no? Yung mga sinasabi kong engagement with the communities. Kami mismo pumupunta together with Philippine Red Cross, no? We see it with our own eyes kung ano yung kailangan na ibigay. And we are not dictated upon kung kanino ibibigay at saan ibibigay ang aming assistance.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for elaborating po, no, yung ating principle na talagang gusto lang natin makatulong sa lahat po ng victims of war. Ito po, nabanggit ninyo kanina, you mentioned the international humanitarian law o yung ating batas sa giyera or law of armed conflict na ipinapalagana po ng ICRC. Can you tell us a brief details on this?
Yes. So, if I were to share with you in a nutshell, no, ano yung ICHL o ano yung gusto kong matandaan ninyo about international humanitarian law, it's basically wars have limits, no? You cannot do anything or everything in war. May hangganan niya, no? But it's very practical. It's a very practical law, no? It doesn't say na hindi ka pwedeng pumatay as such, right? But the primary purpose of it is to protect kung sino yung hindi nakasama at hindi kasama sa conflict. And these are civilians, okay? Mga civilian, mga detainees, okay? Mga nahuli or inaresto in relation to the conflict. Mga may sakit at sugatan na kahit na sundalo sila or fighter sila before that, once they are incapable of fighting, they are already protected by IHL. And even yung mga shipwrecked. So yun yung cover ng IHL. It protects these people to preserve their life and dignity. So even sa gera, meron pa rin tayong measure of dignity na pine-preserve through respecting IHL. That's why it's very important po for our state security forces and as well yung mga tinatawag nating non-state armed groups na irespeto po ang international humanitarian law.
Knowing that, ma'am, no, how important po ba na malaman talaga ng ating mga manonood, ng mga tao, lalong-lalo na po yung mga partidong naglalaban sa mga internal armed conflict dito sa Philippines, sa Pilipinas, bakit po mahalagang malaman nila yung IHL?
Like I mentioned a while ago, no, it's really their obligation as well, no? Bilang lahat ng bansa sa buong mundo, including of course the Philippines, nag-ratify po tayo ng Geneva Conventions. Therefore, the state, no, has the responsibility to fulfill their obligations to IHL. So, yun, it's a fulfillment of their obligations, pero hindi lang yun, no? I mean, we're all humans. At the end of the day, humanity in war, and we want to preserve this level of humanity in war. And by respecting international humanitarian law, by treating our enemies, you know, as also as humans, no, merong hangganan talaga the way you conduct warfare.
That's why you mentioned nga po kanina yung neutralization natin na kahit na enemy sila, they are humans. So we need to protect them, and it is important nga na meron tayong the IHL, yung ating humanitarian law. So, sana meron pa tayong mga more information dissemination on this para mas malawak pa po yung maging kaalaman ng mga tao regarding this law. So, bukod po no, sa pagpapalaganap natin ng IHL, nagpo-promote po tayo at nagpo-promote ng pagrespeto ng batas na ito. Ano-ano pa po yung mga humanitarian activities naman or projects of the ICRC, especially here in Zamboanga Peninsula and our neighboring islands po, yung ating Basulta, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi.
Okay, thank you. So let me just go through in general yung mga kinds of work that we do in ICRC, and then I'll zoom in dun sa klase ng ginagawa naming activities dito sa Samba Sultan, no? So when it comes to let's say magkaroon ng armed conflict, magkaroon ng displacement, no? So at times, depende nga sa needs, no? Kung halimbawa hindi kaya ng LGU, they need help, the ICRC may step in with close partnership of Philippine Red Cross para mag-provide ng relief items, no? So ito yung medyo nakikita nyo sa mga photos, madalas yung pamimigay ng bigas, ng mga canned goods, etc., no? So yun yung relief. Kasama din dito sa assistance na ito yung making sure na merong ample supply of clean water, no? So very important yan sa mga bakwit, lalo na sa mga evacuation center wherein hindi naman always yan nakaset up to accommodate so many people, no? So many families. And para makaiwas ka sa sakit, kailangan mo ng malinis na tubig, no? And sanitation facilities as well. So yun, tinutulong din yun ng ICRC, as well as sa health, no? Access to healthcare. We support health facilities in conflict areas so that kapag merong armed conflict, nakakatulong sila, no? Kapag merong wounded, may sick, no? May tinamaan ng bullets, no? They are capable. And also yung mga doctors nila or medical professionals, they are trained. Another aspect of our work is promoting IHL, a very important aspect. Kasi ito yung tinatawag na prevention aspect. Kung meron kang assistance aspect ng work, meron din yung prevention. You prevent, violations of IHL. And you can only do that kapag mataas yung level ng awareness ng mga tao, especially the parties to the armed conflict, on IHL. So, madalas, ang ICRC nakikipag-engage sa Armed Forces of the Philippines. At times, yung mga kasama din sa Philippine National Police, BJMP, no? When it comes to IHL and then visiting detainees, no? So, not many people also know, bumibisita po kami ng mga detainees. This is to ensure that they are treated with respect, no? And that they have access to food, water, maayos-ayos na living conditions, no? Kasama yan sa work ng ICRC. So more or less mga ganun, no? And we also have other specialities like providing mental health to those affected by armed conflict. Basta lahat naka-root in connection to our expertise sa armed conflict.
Okay. How about for Zamboanga Peninsula, Zambasulta po? Ano po yung mga nakatutok na proyekto naman dito?
Okay. So, I will mention some, no? In Zamboanga City Jail, we're very proud of this project na ginawa ng ICRC. together with the authorities. Marami po kaming inayos para sa mga detainees ng Zamboanga City Jail. This happened only in the pandemic. Inayos po yung water system. At dahil po doon, mas maayos na po yung water supply ng mga detainees po ng Zamboanga City Jail. Kasama din po dyan ang ventilation. No? So kasi di ba usually yung mga kulungan natin masisikip talaga. So very important, malaki yung nagagawa nung magkaroon ng maayos na ventilation. No? Apart from that, marami din po tayong ginagawa with certain areas sa Zamboanga Peninsula. Meron din po tayong community water project sa Leon Postigo, no? And we are also able to help yung community through a cash for work program.
Okay.
So meron pong mga ganun.
So it's good to know po na marami rin tayong projects dito sa Zamboanga Peninsula, Zamboanga City, lalo na po sa mga nangangailangan talaga, which is deprived, especially our PDLs, persons deprived with liberty po. So with that, ma'am, no, na differentiate natin kanina the PRC from the ICRC. Ngayon po, especially this time of pandemic, alam ko medyo mahirap yung ating mobility. Nahihirapan tayo sa pag-adjust during the pandemic. So ano po yung mga ginawa ng ICRC para makatulong naman sa efforts din ng gobyerno at ng Philippine Red Cross sa pagtetest, pag-isolate, and yun, at ngayon po sa pagbabakuna laban sa COVID-19?
Okay. So, naging parang twofold din yung action namin dito. Meron kaming naging direct action pagdating sa detention facility. So, at the height of pandemic, mga April 2020 yan, talagang we were working closely with the BJMP para maayos yung kanilang mga isolation facilities for detainees. So, natulungan namin yung BJMP to create several regional
Nakita po niya.
isolation facility, which is very important kasi para makuha mo yung COVID suspect, maitanggal mo dun sa jail, parang hindi na siya makahawa. No? So that was one very important and urgent project that we're very proud of. Now, as well as IPC training din, of course. Infection prevention and control training po sa mga personnel po ng BJMP and Bucor. When it comes to with PRC, no? Karamihan ng aming suporta din, we course through the PRC. Kasi si PRC, Philippine Red Cross, talagang siya yung from the start, at the forefront talaga siya helping the government, no, pataasin ng testing, even yung isolation, and now umabot na sa vaccination, no. So we have been supporting the PRC with that, whether it's providing yung mga PPE sa kanilang mga staff and volunteer, and also yung financial support para makapag-set up sila ng molecular labs, one of which is sa Zamboanga, tinulungan namin na ma-equip yung molecular lab dito. And yung mga vaccination sites din, no? In Iligan, in Davao, and also in Manila. Yung financial support po namin sa PRC, it went to that. Yan po.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We are glad to know all these projects po na nagawa natin. I'm sure yung iba, ako personally, first time ko lang nalaman na ito pala yung mga ginagawa, yung mga na-provide ng ICRC dito sa Zamboanga Peninsula. With that, ma'am, meron po ba tayong a message or siguro meron tayong announcement sa mga tagapanood natin so that they are much more aware pa po kung ano yung pwedeng magawa or maitulong ng ICRC?
Nagpapasalamat lang po ako sa inyong patuloy na suporta sa Red Cross, whether it's Philippine Red Cross or the ICRC. We're very happy with the strong support that you continue to provide us and yung trust po. It's very important for the Red Cross kasi without this, we will be unable to provide po yung tulong na ibibigay po namin. So yun lamang po ang aking mensahe, and then kung meron po kayong nais pang malaman about ICRC, meron po kaming website, icrc.org/ph. Meron din pong Facebook page, ICRC-PH. Please visit nyo po kung gusto nyo rin mag-apply. Meron din po doon kayong makikitang information. And last but not least, meron po kaming actually tinatawag na Community Contact Center. So kung meron pong feedback, Whether community member ka na nakatanggap ng assistance or may katanungan ka, you may call yung hotline po namin, 1-800-1888 ICRC or 4272. Toll-free po yan, free for Smart, TNT, Sun, and PLDT. Meron din po kaming mga text hotlines na 0917-543-7313 tsaka 0998-960-0114. So rest assured po na meron pong sasagot sa inyong mga katanungan.
And we also have office naman dito sa Zamboanga City which they can visit or they can ask assistance. I'm sure siguro meron tayong mga organizations and other government agencies na baka nangangailangan ng a little bit more of information from ICRC that perhaps you can help them for trainings or other information that you can share them that can also help po the organizations.
Yes.
Opo. So muli, we are very thankful po for this opportunity to Miss Alison Lopez, the Communication Manager po of the International Committee of the Red Cross. Maraming salamat for this opportunity dahil naipaabot natin, we introduce what is ICRC and ano yung pwede nilang maitulong, especially dito sa Zamboanga Peninsula, Basilan, Sulu at Tawi-Tawi. So we thank po the representative from the ICRC and we hope to know more pa po, we have more discussions pa po regarding this, especially the international humanitarian law. So maybe we can have another segment on that if meron pa po tayong chances para po marami pa po tayong ma-inform na manonood. Maraming salamat muli, Miss Alison. Maraming salamat. And thank you po sa lahat ng ating mga manonood. Of course, we would like to thank the following sponsors. We have the Kapisur, Karimadon, and Kamiseta, all available at SMCT Mindpro. Maraming salamat. And to our partners, Department of Tourism and DICT. Maraming salamat sa ating lahat po ng manonood and hope to see you all sa ating next Kapihan every Wednesday po dito lamang sa PIA Western Mindanao. Maraming salamat. Ito si Mara Espinosa, Chanek Vida Ustedes. Muchísimas gracias. Buenos dias, Zamboanga. Welcome